Hi, my name is Tamara Sterling and I am the Examinee Relations Specialist with the National Board of Chiropractic Examiners. The intention of this video is to walk you through the process of applying for test accommodations on the National Board Written and Part 4 exams. First, we should establish if this video applies to you. Ask yourself, do I have a diagnosed disability? Do I believe this disability will affect my performance on the NBCE exams? If you answered yes to both of these questions, this video will be helpful in navigating the test accommodation request process. The first thing you should do when requesting test accommodations is download the request form and the test accommodation guidelines for the exam for which you are applying. It is important to notice that the request form for the written exams and the Part 4 are different and cannot be used interchangeably. Once you have the forms, look at the chart on page 3 titled Required Documentation. Read through options 1 through 5 and determine what category you fall in. You then need to submit only the sections that are indicated with an X. One of the most common reasons for rejection of test accommodations is failure to use this chart properly. For example, the required documentation chart for the Part 4 exam states that you have to submit an evaluator review form and disability report even if you have been previously approved for accommodations on the written exams. Examinees will turn in a request for accommodations on the Part 4 and make assumptions like, they have my disability report from when I submitted it for the written exams, or I already had my evaluator fill out the forms for the written exams. This is not the case. As you can see in the chart, if you have not been previously approved for accommodations on the Part 4, even though you may have received accommodations on the written exams, you still need to submit all sections of the request form as well as the disability report. This chart is a valuable tool and will apply to everyone who requests accommodations. If you don't understand what category you fall into, please contact me and I will assist you. For the purpose of this video, let's assume you fall into Category 1. This means that you need to submit a complete test accommodation request form, except for Section 2, and a disability report. Sections 1, 3, 4, and 5 you can fill out yourself. Section 6 needs to be signed in front of a notary and stamped and signed by the notary. Section 7 needs to be filled out by a representative from the chiropractic college you are currently attending. If you have graduated from chiropractic college, indicate the month and year of graduation at the top of the form. Section 8 needs to be filled out by a qualified and licensed evaluator who diagnosed your condition and is familiar with its impact on your ability to take standardized examinations. What if you cannot get in touch with the evaluator that originally diagnosed your condition? Then you can have another evaluator fill out the form, as long as they are also qualified and licensed to make the diagnosis that is stated in your disability report, and they have an understanding of the condition's impact in your life. They are also attesting to the fact that they have read and understand the NBCE's guidelines for acceptable documentation, and they are agreeing that the disability report submitted meets those guidelines. Let me take a moment to point out the evaluator review form for the writtens is different from that of the Part 4. Here, you see we ask the evaluator to read a description of the written examinations, and on the Part 4 form, we ask they read a description of the practical examination. Obviously, you cannot submit the evaluator review form from the written request form with the Part 4 request form. We feel it is essential for the evaluator to understand the format of our exams so they can make the best and most accurate recommendations for accommodations. Therefore, your request will be rejected if this form is incomplete or not provided. Next, you need to attach a disability report. The disability report is specific to you. We have guidelines that we ask the evaluator to follow when writing a disability report. Following the guidelines helps to ensure that we receive all the information we need to make a determination of appropriate accommodations. Please review these guidelines yourself and make sure the evaluator received the portion titled Guidelines for Acceptable Documentation, which are pages 3 through 5 of the Test Accommodation Guidelines. Once you have compiled all of this, you must mail it to the NBCE by the postmark application deadline for the exam for which you are applying. As you can see, you must rely on other people to fill out portions of the request form. Therefore, planning ahead is essential for having the paperwork ready in time. For more information on test accommodation deadlines and examples of proper planning, please see the blog on NBCE Interactive called Assuring Accommodations, Planning Ahead. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it to be helpful. If you have any questions about the test accommodation process, please do not hesitate to contact me, either by phone at 1-800-964-6223 extension 145 or email at tsterling@nbce.org.